Hey, it's your boy Easy, and on today's episode of Easy Opens, we're going to be taking a look at the Dollar Tree Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Build-It figures that just randomly appeared at Dollar Trees across the world, I guess. We managed to get all 4 of them, and so we're going to put them, open them, put them together, and see how they stack up. So let's check them out.
Alright, here are the TMNT Brick Build-It figures from Just Play. Now, like I just mentioned, you can find these at your local Dollar Tree, and if you can't, just stick around to the end of the video because we're going to be giving these away, and you can find out how to get them. So, these are pretty neat. I stumbled upon these in the Dollar Tree, most likely looking for my wife, and I was just blindsided because I had no idea these were coming out, and I'm the co-host of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles podcast, as well as a toy collector, and these were not on my radar at all. So it was kind of neat to see them out in the wild, just out of nowhere, something you didn't know was coming out. It reminded me of how it used to be back in the day collecting toys before the internet, or at least in the early days of the internet, when you would just go to the store and you'd see something new. So when you find these in the store, you're going to see them more than likely in a giant gravity-fed style box. Now that means that there's a slot at the bottom that where the figures are at, and you take the figures and then more fall in from the top via gravity, and that's how they replenish them. And then you'll have nothing in there, which is pretty much the case in the local Dollar Trees that we have around us because people have just been buying these up. So thankfully, one of the I think like the second or third one that we went into had a good amount of them, and I was able to get the whole set. The packaging on these are really nice. They're very bright and colorful, and they look fun, and they've got the licensed TMNT official art on them and everything, so that's really cool. And yeah, even the back has really good art on it and shows you all 4 turtles in the line. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get these guys open and put them together. So these are neat little builds, to be honest. I wasn't expecting to enjoy myself as much as what I did putting at least the first 2 together, and that was really cool. I'm not sure if that's inherent to the actual builds themselves or the fact that like I haven't built a figure in a minute, so there was something there. But nevertheless, the fact that the doing it was you know, fun. And again, the instruction booklet, very nice. Was not expecting that quality of product in this packaging. So again, that's another one for the plus column. But once the distraction of all the high quality packaging and instruction books and the joy of brick building itself wore off, I was left with just the realization that these are the same 4 figures over and over again, and I started to notice the varying quality of some of the pieces and how well they worked together. The build itself is kind of neat overall. It's got a nice little heft to it to where it feels like it should, because there's always something that throws me off about the weight of a figure if it doesn't feel the way that it should, like a certain way, and I can't describe it or quantify it in any like legit means, but it still nevertheless has some kind of like merit in my own opinion of action figures. And these seem to stack up quite nicely and weigh what I would think would be an appropriate amount, I guess. I don't know. That seems weird now that I'm saying it out loud. But one thing I was not expecting was that there is an option piece to have the pupils of the TMNT be either pupiled like the animated cartoon 1987 animated series style look to their eyes, or the more serious non-pupiled look that you normally get in the comics and in the Nickelodeon 2012 series when they were being all serious and doing their ninja stuff. Personally, I'm a big fan of the pupilless eyes. I think that you get a lot more mileage out of that. The pupils, it leaves more room for there's more room for error, or at least like weirdness with the pupils. But nevertheless, these are done really well, and I was really excited about that. Now, the other things that I liked about this figure are the front shell has the painted on belt with their initials. Those look great. And I like the way that they did the shell and how you build it and stuff. But like I mentioned a few moments ago, the cohesiveness of some of the pieces were a little weird on some of the figures. And then trying to get them to stand they can stand and they're good, but they might be a little off, and you got to try to straighten it, and the foot piece is a little weird, and you end up like it kind of falls apart sometimes when you're trying to get it to balance right and look straight, or walk straight, if you will, as the turtles would probably say. And then the weapons, we got to talk about the weapons. Leonardo's Ninjatos are pretty legit considering what this is, as well as Donatello's bow staff. Both of them have some subtle detail in there where they so Donnie's bow, where he would have his wrap, at least on mine, I think I can see like the slight impressions of where that could be, the paint detail would be. And Leo's Ninjatos, you can definitely see on the handle or hilt or whatever it's called that there's some detail there, which is awesome. And now these are solid pieces that it's just one thing. Unfortunately, they didn't carry that theme over to the other two remaining turtles. Raphael's size are builds, like you have to construct them. And that's not necessarily the end of the world with figures. However, they are massive. They are way too big, and I really don't, they just barely fit the idea of what the Sai is. And I think that they would have been better off if they would have just given us some solid weapons with Raphael instead of these Sai builds. And then there's Mikey's nunchucks. Now, this is probably the worst of the worst for this whole wave, because they don't even come close to looking like nunchucks. In fact, they look like little handguns or like hand cannon things or whatever. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with that. I would have been more happy with just some nunchucks, kind of like how the old Playmates had, where they were like the solid piece of plastic with the thin plastic wire connecting the two nunchucks. And yeah, that was it. I would have been happy with that out of these. But this stuff just kind of breaks, just doesn't do it for me. And then the other thing that I'm not a big fan of is that, and I don't know how they could have fixed this, and I don't know if I'm just being nitpicky here, but the fact that there is no tail on the bandana really breaks the mold for me. Like, it kind of feels almost like these could be anything. It's just, let's just paint them with turtles. Now, I get that they have the shell and the belt and stuff, but like the lack of bandana tails just really, I don't know. And I don't know if painting them on the back of the eyepiece would have done it for me, would have maybe like scratched that itch and like checked that box for me, if you will. All I know is that what we do have doesn't have the bandana tails, and I don't like it. It's just weird to me. Now, moving on to the articulation, you're not getting much out of these. You get up and down with the arms. You can twist and rotate the hands, and the same thing with the legs and the feet. And the feet go up and down, and the legs can go up a little bit and back a little bit, but they come off their connecting piece usually. So they're not really designed to do that. But, you can get them to move. And you could also rotate their head, but like it's the way the head is that it's three pieces. It's a mouthpiece, the eyepiece, and then the headpiece. But it's a little clunky trying to do that even. So yeah, but you do have a little bit of options there, but that's about it. And so all that being said, let's take a look at how these compare to some other figures you might have in your collection. Here they are with Shredder and Raphael from Mega Constructs. Here they are with Fozzie and Miss Piggy from some company that made them and put them out at Dollar Tree. Here they are with Popcorn Guy and Boat Captain minifigures from Lego Minifigures Series 23. And here they are with Splinter and Mikey from Minimates. Alright, so final thoughts. $1.25 a piece, $5 for the whole set, that's not a bad deal. Plus they're at Dollar Trees, which means that if you're like my neck of the woods, you can find a Dollar Tree on almost every corner, or at least in every town. So you have a good chance at getting these. They're definitely a fun build, at least through the first two. And the weapons for Leo and Don are really good and really solid for what they are. And then the painted on details for the eyepiece, the mouthpiece, the front shell with the belt and the initial, those are all great. And then the inclusion of the extra pupilless eyes, that was just awesome. They didn't have to do it, and I'm so glad they did, because that really makes these feel, it just feels good when a company gives you that little extra bit. Like, a little goes a long way is what I'm saying. That being said, the lack of bandana tails really break the figure for me. I don't know, maybe I'm nitpicking here, but like, I really wish they would have painted it on the back, just a little tail or something. I don't know if that's even feasible, but considering how good the eyes and mouth and the belt look, it seems like something they could have done. But then again, you could also say, how often are you looking at the back of the figure? So, I mean, I'm probably nitpicking here, but I wish they would have done something with that. That would have been neat. And then the most egregious problem with these figures was the design choice to make Raph and Mike's weapons brick weapons. Especially considering how well done and sturdy Leo and Don's are. That would have gone a long way if they would have just given us solid weapons instead of the brick ones. That would have done a lot better for these figures, in my opinion. However, that all being said, again, $5 for the whole set. If you're just an avid anything Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, you can't go wrong with these. And if you're someone that's looking for a gift for someone who's a TMNT lover in your life, then I don't see anyone being upset with receiving these. Like, this is a win-win for a lot of situations. Or if you're just trying to get your kids a Turtles toy that, you know, that's inexpensive that they'll enjoy, I think these are a great buy for that. However, as someone with a substantial Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection, as well as a just general toy collection, these really don't have a place in my collection. And that's mostly because they're not my scale. And I don't foresee them making a full, complete line of these figures. I would be highly surprised if they got a Series 2 out of this, and I wouldn't even know what to do if they made any more beyond that. So I'm gonna say that it's probably a safe bet that they won't be continuing with this line. And on top of that, the playability isn't there for me. I like my figures well articulated, and if not that, then I like for them to go with other collections of things that I might have. So for instance, the Lego minifigures, I love them. They don't have a lot of articulation, but they have sets and they go with a bunch of other stuff. But these don't go with anything. They're just gonna stand on the shelf, and if that's what you're looking for, that's awesome. These are great. But if you're looking for TMNT minifigures that can articulate and do other stuff and go with other things, then you might need to look somewhere else. However, finding them for $1.25, that's probably not going to happen. All right, everybody, so that's going to be it for this review. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to leave a like and a comment below with your thoughts on the figure, and anything I got loud and wrong, let me know. And if you want to see more of me reviewing things like this, please subscribe. And if for some reason, if you need a good TMNT podcast to watch and listen to, check out my show Turtle Soup Podcast on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. And again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you'd like to win this set of TMNT figures, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe over at Turtle Soup as well. Elsetime.